All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Limitless Life Code podcast. My name is Jordyn, and I'm a holistic healing specialist that decided to start a YouTube channel so that I can just talk freely about the stuff that changed my life. And I've got some transformative content for you today, and that makes me pretty excited to dive in. The Limitless Life Code is meant to be all about breaking free from the limitations that are holding you back and stepping into a life of true freedom, abundance, and purpose. And so we all carry stories with us, stories or personal conclusions that tint the way that we see the world. And these stories shape our personal lens of perception, like the glasses that you put on. They are tinting the lens with a certain type of color or story or conclusion or bias. And in doing so, they actually create the identities that we assume along the way, right? Our stories are creating and contributing to the identities that we've latched onto throughout our lives. And some of these identities were given to you by society. You inherited them by being born into this world. Some were passed down from your family. Some are stereotypes that you have internalized and adopted and accepted as your truth. And others were formed in some kind of childhood episode or trauma or some sort of thing that happen to you, as simple as like somebody didn't look at your picture you painted for them, or somebody dismissed you when you were showing off or singing on top of a stool in the kitchen, when you were two, and somebody told you to be quiet. Somebody told you that tears are for sissies. I mean, all certain experiences throughout your life have shaped out your conclusions in your personal stories. And I mean, even some of your identities are coping mechanisms that you adopted to survive those life experiences. Like sometimes we are using the identity of being, the class clown to cope with the idea of being rejected or being seen as not enough, or maybe you've used the identity of being really down to earth as a girl, right? You're a really down to earth chick, and so you're very likable by all guys because you're afraid of rejection from men because of something that happened when you were small. And so what we need to understand about identities that we've latched onto, that the personality traits and even your astrological traits and signs and readings, like there are so many things that we attach onto that we say define us. When we're trying to figure out who we are actually creating limitation. The common thread between all identity is limitation. Identity literally equals limits to the persona because when you grab a hold of an identity and you make that who you are, and that's immovable, I am who I am, and that's it, then you are now limited to only acting within the parameters of that specific identity that you have attached yourself to. Because when you identify with something, whether it's a specific role or an opinion or a type of person, you actually begin to adopt the behaviors and the habits and the mindset of that identity. Obviously, we see that everywhere. And your mind, as a human being, craves predictability. And we've talked a lot about this in previous episodes. Your mind is a predictability regurgitating, memory regurgitating machine. And it's constantly searching for identities to associate with and grab a hold to and latch onto to add to yourself, to give itself a sense of control and certainty. And it doesn't care whether or not the identity feels good or bad. It just wants consistency and routine. And when you identify with something, you are convincing yourself that this is who you are. And you believe that your identity explains your habits, it explains your behaviors. But here's the trap with this, okay? If you think this is who you are, If you think this is who I am who I am, and that's it, then it can feel really incredibly difficult to change. And why is that? Because you start to believe that this is just your nature. I am who I am. It's just who you are. And here's the truth, okay? This isn't who you are. It's who you think that you are. And what do we know about our thoughts? We know that we are not our thoughts. We are the one who witnesses our thoughts. And just to break this down a little bit further on the witness part of this discussion, when you think a thought, do you like every single thought that enters your head? Do you favor every single thought that enters your mind? Do you think that was a wonderful thought? Or do sometimes you think, or a lot of the time you think, what in the fuck was that? Or, wow, that thought really hurt my feelings. Hurt whose feelings? It's your thought. So you're a masochist now? You actually want to hurt yourself? No, you don't. Which is where I want you to really understand that you aren't your thoughts because you're not your mind. You have a mind. You have thoughts. And you're the one who witnesses them. You're the one who experiences them. You're the one who hears them. And you have the power to choose which thoughts you want to believe and which thoughts you want to challenge and let go of. And so today, I really just want to bring some awareness to the identities that you are currently carrying. Some of these identities serve you, and some of these identities maybe not so much, right? So here's some examples, okay? Here's an example of a empowering identity would be I am a kind person, and all people who know me know that I am kind, loving, whole, and complete. Or very simply, I am a kind person. And then a disempowering identity would be I am antisocial. I am antisocial, and therefore people find it hard to love me. I am antisocial and find that people don't like me when they get to know me. Or maybe that when they do get to know me, they hurt me. A disempowering identity is I am antisocial. An empowering identity would be I am good at anything that I set my mind to. A disempowering identity would be I'm a procrastinator and I always struggle to get things done. An empowering identity would be I am in charge of my life. I am the conscious co-creator. I am source. I am the source of everything in my life. A disempowering identity would be I am a victim of life. Life is out to get me. Life is unfair, and I am a victim. When you identify with disempowering identities, you are essentially trapping yourself into a box complete with behaviors and habits that align with that identity. But the same is true for empowering identities. They can also become limiting over time, yes, especially if you cling to them as fixed aspects of who you are. But what if you thought of your identities as stepping stones, right? What if they are the bridge to get you to being all of everything? What if you got to choose who you are in every single moment? And every time you decide, you set your sights on who is it that I wish and dream and desire myself to be in the heart of my hearts, right? What do I want to be? Who do I want to be? And when you are asking yourself that question, maybe it feels really far away, and maybe you just have to do stepping stones to get there, right? Maybe you're a multi-million-dollar business owner for holistic nutrition, and you are the most fit, incredible shaped body, and you're like a glowing goddess or a Roman god, and you are just like all the things in your ultimate ideal version of life. And maybe you're looking at that and it feels like, whoa, that feels eons away. That feels like a quantum level of leaping that would have to take place, and I don't know if I can do that. And so maybe instead you decide that you're going to use different identities that help build you into that version. Right? If you're feeling like you're a procrastinator, victim of life who sucks at everything and nobody likes right now, and you want to manifest this version of life, it might not feel easy to do, to quantum leap from one to the other. But what you can do is you can create a bridge, and you can use identities, empowering identities that are leading you to where you want to be ultimately, and use them as stepping stones to get you to that ultimate end. If you can't quite go to the end and stay there, if you can't step into your ultimate power right now, you can use identities, but you have to be able to know that they are stepping stones, and that as soon as you start to outgrow them, as soon as it seems like life is pushing you towards the next level, that you're able to just let them go and say, thank you for who you've served me to be. This is what I mean about empowering identities can also become limiting over time if you cling to them as fixed aspects of who you are. But you don't have to do that. This is why it's essential to constantly mold and evolve who you are into the person you want to be in each moment. So let's just do something powerful together here, okay? We're going to create a list of the identities that you currently hold. I want you to just take a minute. If you have a pen and paper, do it. If you need to do it in your head, do it. But I want you to think, who are you based on your life so far? Who are you? Based on, if you were to describe yourself right now, what would you write down? What do you identify with? And once you've made this list, I'm not going to sit here and wait for you to make this list, but once you've made this list, maybe pause this video, take 5 minutes. Who are you based on who you believe yourself to be in this moment? What are you identifying with? And then once you've made your list, I want you to sit and I want you to look at that list, and I want you to choose which identities you want to keep, because some of them are still serving you, and which ones you want to leave behind. And here's the key, okay? Once you've done this and you've decided on the ones you're going to keep and the ones you're going to let go, we are going to sit and we're going to look at them all. And we're going to say thank you to the identities that got us here. All of them. The good, the bad, the empowering, and the disempowering. Because they have all, literally all, played a role in bringing us to this exact moment where we get to choose again. And you truly do have the power to choose who you are in every single moment, not by holding on to the thoughts that show up, the ones that just arrive, but by choosing what to do with those thoughts when they arise. So what do you want to be remembered for in this life? Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? If there was no limits, if you could be whoever you want, whatever version of you want to be, imagine you could do whatever your heart desires. Who do you want to be? This is where we start building that legacy. When we begin now, in this very moment, you are literally stepping towards transformation that will blow your fucking mind. So let's choose wisely and use our experiences so far and follow our hearts and step into the version of ourselves that we want to become. And remember, you are not limited by the identities that you have carried with you until now, because you can choose who you are in every moment, and you have the power to create the life that you truly desire. So if you need some guidance in making these shifts, I would love to support you. All you have to do is click the link in the description of this video or any other video and book a one-on-one session with me, and we can start building your limitless life today. Because you are powerful and you are worthy of everything that you dream of. You are worthy of it now. You are already worthy. You've always been that. So let's step into that together. I hope you have the best day, and I will talk to you soon.